my finished product. So here we go. Okay, and soon enough, we're gonna start with our beagle. Okay. Now, is this the one we're supposed to use? Well, it's not a glass cleaner, but it says all-purpose. Maybe it's this, so we're going to clean it off anyway. Okay. Now, I'm not that good at cleaning, but I keep on thinking maybe I should use this. At the same time, it's not a glass cleaner, but I decided to give it a try anyway. All right. There's definitely a good amount of dust on my table. There it is. Okay. All right. So now, how long am I going to be streaming for? Let me see. I would think that I'll probably be streaming for 1 hour. Sometimes I go a little over, but I'm saying I'm going to see if I can get a wait and see approach. But yesterday, I actually went over, and yesterday was a lousy day. It went dark early, so I had to cut out early because it looked like sooner yesterday. Okay. So there. Okay. Long base in life. Yeah. Didn't really match, so. Okay. All right, so I can't afford a makeup artist or a crew, so I have to go with what I have. So, all right, all cleaned. Now we're gonna trace the dog. Since this is an animal rights theme, I decided to just do the cute little dog. Now, we all know beagles are not that big of dogs, so we're gonna do the best we can. So we're gonna start tracing the dog. Oh, geez. Okay, there we are. Now let's see what else we have. Okay, here we go. Now, as I mentioned, every single time I do my art segment, this crafts really is expressive. And it okay, and there it is. cut this part off. Okay. All right. All right. All right. Okay. Hopefully this turns out right. All right. There we go. Paint in the inner part of the eyes. So this was originally supposed to be an animal rights program, but it just went from one topic to another because the length that Scientology experienced, they experienced mental health, trauma, they have inhumane practices, so it also went towards that direction. And yeah, Scientology is a huge mess. So now, okay. Now, usually when you make a mistake, we use a lead and pencil, but guess what? Can't use a pencil on glass. So I started using a permanent marker. So that's what I did. Use the permanent marker for this whole thing. All right, so there we go. Now I'm gonna draw on the spot that's on this dog. Now, there. See, there's the dog's face, if you can see it from here. Okay. Now, there. Okay. Now, I'm going to trace that body. Do this part again. Okay. Am I going to actually paint the outline today? I'm not really entirely sure, so I'm going to take the wait and see approach. So, okay, here we go. Outline the leg of the dog. There. Now I'm going to go on to another part. Oh, it looks like, all right. It looks like I'm going to have to use my imagination because there's another dog in the picture. So let's do that. All righty. I mean, you can use any picture. So, all right. You got that part of the dog. So, and then we're going to, it looks like it's going to curve. So let's use that. Okay. So now we're going to use a curve that. All right. And there we go. Now we're going to use the black and white spots. So then we're going to draw that in. Oh, this is looking so cute. Oh, if only you guys can see it from this side, but I am going to eventually show you. Okay. All righty. So let's just use our imaginations. Okay. Now there's an outline in the bottom, so we're gonna use that. Here it is. Here's the dog, the outline of the dog that we're gonna paint for the vase. Oh my gosh. Sorry about that, everybody. I didn't use the right color base. So it just does it. Okay. Since yesterday I showed you what I painted yesterday, I'm going to put this aside right here. All right. Now I'm going to paint the dog. And it's alrighty. Let's see. Okay. All right. So we're going to start painting the base. Yeah. When people stream, usually depending on the lighting and the camera, they would use a base to film. So they wouldn't look as pale as a ghost. So, oh yeah. So I'm going to start outlining my dog. I don't think it's going to work. I'll just leave it like that. So always use a permanent marker. So, okay, let's start to paint now. We're going to make the outline of the dog. All right. We're going to start at the bottom. And this is more fun than what L. Ron Hubbard planned, which is the clay, which uses it to torture people. And that's not what it's made for. It's made for making other people's plates, which I doubt they're using now since technology advanced, and it's not so good because not only they use the machines, but they use humanoids to do the job, although the robots would most likely do it. So it wouldn't be as great. So I'm using the outline of the dog. All right. Now that I complete one of my tasks for the SP Foundation, lately, no, because it's just so nerve-wracking talking to people and going from within the government. So it's not such an easy thing to do since you need connections. But I did succeed a little bit since I talked to the mayor during the election. So it worked out a little bit, but now I have to go all the way in. So, which man from which town in Ohio? I'll never tell. Now we're going to go curve around. Oh my goodness, the way these college students drive. Yeah, he's backing out with the car in front. He's going on the front lawn where there's snow and then just curving around that car. So if only I can show you, but I can't. So, all right. Now let me see. I know sometimes I just give you old news, but at the same time, I just don't know how to actually another conversation. But let's see. Yeah, as I mentioned yesterday, I found 3 more people that's in the SPTV community, and they told the most greatest stories about Scientology and their abusive practices, which really made sense. Now, those who don't believe that Tom Cruise can actually do anything wrong, yeah, you're wrong, because celebrities are just like me and you. They have personalities that you may not like, believe it or not. And sometimes they're going to go from one personality to another. And now, okay, sometimes they're going to go from one personality to the other. Tom Cruise went from good to evil in a big way, because you heard his rants. And he is really under the impression that he is in a religion, which he is not. So he was just brainwashed in a big way. And the way they spend their tax-exempt dollars, Scientology is up. Yeah. So, and I think that's what Tom Cruise uses, because the 501k would actually get back taxes from spending whatever they donate to the nonprofit organization, and they would earn a little more. So there it is right there. And the tax exempt is the donations that they would accept, or okay. Of course, L. Ron Hubbard was never into donating any kind of cash. Okay. And what did they spend their tax exempt money on? They usually spend it on high price attorneys and private investigators to do all of Scientology and David Miscavige's dirty work. And it is just so unbelievable. So, yeah, in life, we just have to be careful who we donate our money to. Of course, I have to realize that myself, because guess what? I'm usually naive when it comes to stuff like that, because I like to be giving. But we can't always give to people who don't deserve it. We can't give money to people who don't deserve it. So, Yeah, it's always rough when you find out things like that, but you know what? It's going to be all right at the end. Things will get better for you anyway, but for everybody else in Scientology, no, because they do not donate the money to them, the homeless, or beautification. Yes, of course, some of them would get donations. Some of the nonprofits would get donations, but 90% of the time, David Miscavige just puts it in his pocket. If they do use that money, they would use it for publicity and PR. That's all they would use it for. They want to build up a reputation that wasn't even there in the first place. That they're a given organization, which they're not. They're greedy. They only do it when it's a PR tactic. So that's when they donate. And then half the time, they just don't do that. And the rest goes in David Miscavige's wrong purposes. So, yes, sometimes you get disappointed at people who we thought were good when in reality they turn evil. And Tom Cruise is one of them. He went from good to evil. Now, do people want to believe it? Probably not. Did I wanted to believe Tom Cruise can be so evil? Well, you know what? He seemed like this nice guy. But then at the end, people found out he went from good to evil. It's not always great, but sometimes celebrities mess up in a big way. They're just like you and me. So it is disappointing. But you know what? There are better things out there in life. All right. Did John Travolta go from good to evil? You know what? You can never tell because my drama professor at the school I went to, which is a community college, he said John Travolta was the nicest guy there is. So I intended to go along with him because he actually knew him when he did work with John Travolta. And he thought he was a nice guy. I believe it, but you know what? Things in life happen, and we just have to find a way to actually go ahead and deal with it. Yeah, it is disappointing, but that's the way things go in life. So, righty. Okay, because in that organization, people were killed negligently. And Christy Alley was one of the casualty when she died from cancer. Because according to Joy Vila, who has her own show on YouTube called The Joy Vila Show, said, according to her, Scientology made Kirstie Alley suffer. They thought they were going to audit her cancer away. It never happened. And that's how she died from stage 4 cancer. Because they take it upon themselves to actually think they can cure something where in reality They can't. Let's see here. All right. All right. But do I still like Tom Cruise as an actor? Yes, I really like Jerry Maguire. He did such good work on it. He's a brilliant actor. But when he got further into the career and he met people, sometimes you just run into the wrong people when you're in the business. They're not always good, so there's a chance somebody can run into the wrong person. And this is what Tom Cruise actually did. He ran into the wrong person. So that's what happened. So even though in life, yes, we run into the wrong people, but in Hollywood or Hollyweird or whatever people love to call it, you can run into the wrong person. And it's not great, but yeah, those are the things that we have to deal with. So, and the LAPD, I think, must think that all of them are good because they showed, Mark and Claire showed that there were pictures of cops posing with celebrities. And one of them is, let's see, two of the members of NSYNC. Are they corrupt? You know what? I'm not sure because, first of all, they don't show it in front of the public place, especially social media, so we can't tell. They might be nice, they might not. You can never tell whether or not they're nice people. We can't. 90% of the time, now that the internet is around, you'll know about it faster, but then the other half of the time sacrifice animals, dark magic, no. It's not really great because they have sacrificial ceremonies, and believe it or not, they use infants, and it is so sad because it could be that someone could lose a child that way, and it's so horrible. Or they can sacrifice animals, and it's unbelievable. But the art of white magic does not hurt people because it's harm none, and they have free will. Now, if they harm anything or anybody, the free will just goes out the door. That's how they would see it. So, and if you do this, you're only supposed to, this is what I read. If you do a spell, it's supposed to be only on yourself, but there are people that just break the rules and do it on other people. And that's where free will goes out the door. So, and that's Wicca, and there are other forms of witchcraft. And believe it or not, there's a form of witchcraft which uses Christianity. They would pray like everybody else, believe it or not. And they have a Christian pagan beliefs. Now, does the church like it? You know what? No, they don't. But however, they don't like it, but yet they use the Christmas tree. Now, if you do not like something, why are you using their decorations? I mean, that's what I would like to know. Now, I believe it. They wanted to transfer from paganism to Christianity. Okay. Now, there is a problem with that since I believe growing up, I go to the Apostolic Church. They use Christmas tree and Christmas for years and years and years since Christianity was forming. They took the Christmas tree, the Festival of Lights, which uses trees, lights. It was like a festival-like theme. They took that tree. They continued on with their ceremonies like that, the celebration. They took the tree. They used it to transfer from paganism to Christianity. That did. It worked. But however, since the internet was around, we found out that they've been using that Christmas tree for years and years and years. But you know what? I mean, okay, if you don't like something, like a group of people, of course, you don't know who you like and who you don't like. You have to go by the personality of that person. That's what Jesus meant when he said, don't judge. Of course, he also meant, yes, don't harshly judge a person. But I think he also meant get to know the person's person. Are we going to always like a group of people? No. And then for years and years and years, I didn't know that that a Christmas tree was a pagan decoration until just recently. It's not good. If you don't like something, don't use it. Don't justify by taking something and using it for your own practices when you don't like a group of people. So it's messed up, people. So I would say to myself, in Christianity, if you don't like pagan decorations or the pagan religion, do not use any of their decorations. But you know what? That's probably going to happen anyway. So there's nothing more we can do. But I grew up believing that. So and on Easter, they would use Easter eggs by decorating them. Paganism has been doing it before Christianity. Now, I had no idea about this until, recently. And you know what? If you don't like something or a certain group of people without a just cause, for some reason, it has to be a reason why you don't like somebody, then don't use their decorations. But you know what? I'm accustomed to it now. So, and plus I don't use Easter eggs. I'm a vegan. I'm trying to be vegan anyways. So it's just wrong in any forms. If you don't like something, don't a certain group of people without any just cause, do not use their decorations. It's not justifiable. And then turn around and say something rotten about them. It's not right. So, and to top it off, now I'm not setting out to say anything horrible about the Christian religion. So, of course, I use the Christmas tree. Growing up as a little girl, me and my mother used to decorate the Christmas tree with, I don't remember my brother being there because by the time I was about 6 to the age, till my teenage years in high school, me and my mother would decorate the tree every year for the holidays. So, and it was a shocker when I just found out that Christians have been using those decorations. Not right. To everybody, including me, I would say use another decorations, but you know what? We are accustomed to using them now. And I don't think we're ever going to break the habit of using it. It's just not going to happen. So, okay. Now, I decided to talk about it since this was a cult channel that my program is about the cult. Of course, I would talk about it. And if there's something different and unusual and it has to do with religion, I will mention it, but I'm not going to totally cram a person's belief down somebody else's throat. That's not what I'm going to do. But at the same time, if it's about the cult and it sounds culty, I will use it. But at time to time, I'm going to mention religion if it makes sense or doesn't, but I'm not going to cram it down somebody's throat. That's just wrong. So how am I going to be on? It's going to be okay. But where was I? Is it frustrating when these things happen? A little bit. Now, we do those things cautiously and unconsciously. Because, how should I say this? There's good and bad in everything, of course. And sometimes we have the tendency to judge another person without realizing that we are. So, now, is Scientology in judgment of other people? Yes, they are. And they're a hypocrite when it comes to that, because they turn around and say you can be a Christian and a Scientologist, which is not the case, because if you get further in, they're going to tell you to stop using Christianity. So, and that's a form of hate of its own. And you can't be a Buddhist and be a Scientology. It's just not, to them, it's just not right. But if you want to practice religion, yes, of course, don't go to Scientology, because they're going to keep you there and they're going to find ways to get your money. And if you don't have, all right, and then just find a way of not paying you, which is not right. because that would be considered manual labor, and that is against the law. You're not supposed to have slave labor. It's not right. It's wrong. And David Miscavige managed to get around that and had everybody volunteer, which is not right. So they worked, and then they started working a 10 to 15 hour day work. That is not donating your time. That's called manual labor. And it's against the law. You're not supposed to have slave labor. So he found that loophole. And people, when they work a nonprofit, they would work shorter hours. They donate the time. So that's where it came in. They start donating their time. Are they really specific in how many hours they actually donate their time? Probably not. That's how this whole thing started. So I would say probably not. So am I actually setting out to say horrible things about Christianity? No, that's not my intent. I am saying we all do something wrong. There's good and bad in everything. There's good and bad in paganism. There's good and bad in Hinduism. There's good and bad in everything. Dark magic happens to be bad, and white magic happens to be good magic. So in everything, there's good and bad in everything. With them, it's psychiatry. And like I say, there's good and bad in everything, including psychiatry. It's going to depend what they're doing and how they're doing it and which doctor it is. So, or which counselor it is. So there are good ones, there are bad ones. That's the way it goes in life. So, and they turn it around and twist it on people to make it sound like they're always right and everybody's always wrong. So, of course, every good person does. Be in the kitchen. Okay, I'm an hour and 13 minutes into this channel on this program. All right, I keep saying this, so now, yeah, I mean, we're all going to do something wrong in life. Some are worse than others. And with me, I love police officers. They're out there risking their lives for us. They make the biggest sacrifice in their lives. And sometimes they just lose their lives, and somebody loses a son, somebody loses a daughter, somebody loses a mother, a father, an aunt and uncle, or brother or sister. And it's sad. But at the same time, there can be corrupt police officers that don't look after our best interests. So, yeah, and I was disappointed when it came to that. Now, people said in the past that the LAPD are corrupt, are not great. They are racist. No, that's only a certain amount of them. They're not all like that. But the same time, there are corrupt police officers. Now, I knew the LAPD was corrupt, but I had no idea it is so bad that end up hurting a group. And that would include the protesters that protest Scientology. Now, Scientology donated a huge amount of donations to the union, possibly the Memorial Fund. And some of them are good, but at the same time, they squeezed money out of people. And that they used that portion to give them the money, but the rest went into David Miscavige's pocket. And does Tom Cruise know about this? I would think yes, because I mean, he had to have known that he's putting money in his own pocket. So he thinks he's actually donating the money, but what he's really doing is making money off of other people. He squeezes money out of people. Does he know about this? I would probably think so, by the way he's going about it. And then he actually donates 1% of his paycheck to a human that Tom Cruise's money goes into trafficking slave labor. That's where his 1% is going. So, and according to Posted Alex or Alex Barnes, 1% of the earning he makes from his movies, he's donating it to that slave labor. So, yeah, not everything in life is good, and there's good and bad in everything, especially Christianity. Now, believe it or not, the Bible, I found out that they took out portions of the Bible and rewritten it. Now, does the church know about this? My guess is some of them do, but the ones that actually perform this sermons, I don't think so. Now, they're convinced that those are Jesus's words. But no, they've been taken out and put in since Christianity started. Jesus told them never to change the rules, but they did it anyway. So I'm not saying this to cause problems, but that's what happened. And there's a portion of the Bible that's missing. Now, during Jesus's growing up years, when he was getting older, they have him at birth. Then they have him as a 12-year-old, and then a 30-year-old male. And there are parts in there that are missing. Now, well, they do, but they're not looked upon in the Bible as much as they do men, because they fail to mention Asha and Sophia. Now, I'm not saying this to cause conflict. I'm saying this because it's just true. Because I found out that the name Naomi is in the Bible. Now, why didn't the church mention those women before? And throughout my entire life, when I was attending the Armenian Apostolic Church, I never saw one single nun while I was growing up. Now, I don't know whether they wanted to include them or they send them somewhere else, because I used to know a priest that said that all the nuns that are in the Christian Armenian community are in Armenia. Is it true? I hope so. I really hope so, because that's what's told to me with somebody I trust. But other than that, I haven't saw one single nun in the Armenian church in my life. So I don't want to say horrible things about a religion, because the Christian religion is not meant to be evil. It's meant to be good, and people going in and just relax and worship. And that's what the church is there for. And like Scientology, you donate your money, and if you don't donate your money, they're not expecting you to donate. Scientology does, and that's the most rotten thing any organization can do if they're a church. Now, how many churches do you know that would squeeze money out of people? No good church does that. So yeah, and no good church like Valerie Haney, who snuck out of Scientology in the trunk of a car. Now, how many people do you know that sneak out of church in the back of a trunk of a car? None. No one does that in a normal church setting. They come, they leave normally. The way they leave is normal. Christians leave normal. They don't jump into the back of a person's trunk and then have them leave. That doesn't happen in a normal church. And let's see. Do they have the accurate date of Jesus's birth? Now, they admit that they don't know the precise birth of Jesus. They admit that. That's good. So they said it's somewhere between August or September, between, I think, July and September, because all the babies are born, all the infant animals are born during those days. So I don't think they are out by the winter, where all the animals are supposed to come into the world through their mothers, and it's usually in the warmer seasons. They don't do that during the winter, I think. Yeah. Now, they admitted that Mary is a virgin when she gave birth to Jesus. Yeah, unless there's proof otherwise. Otherwise, nobody cannot give birth without sex. A horrible person. I found out about these things, and guess where I found it? Yes, I did find it on the web, to be honest. Because guess what? Each and every secret that everybody has came out on the internet. So we learned something from all this. If you have a secret, keep it to yourself, especially when you're on the internet. So yeah, nowadays we got the internet and all secrets come out. Look what happened to Tom. Each and every secret he has, it came out on the internet. Like I said, the Christian religion is not meant to be evil. Now, like everybody else, there's going to be good priests and there's going to be a bad priest. Now, are they women in the Christian religion practicing the priesthood? Yes, because I met one and she was just tough. So, yeah, I mean, they are, but 90% of the time, there isn't. 95 to 100% of the time, there isn't. So, now there isn't one Armenian priest that's a woman that's in the Armenian Christianity. And like I just mentioned, there isn't even one nun in the Armenian church because I haven't seen one yet, and that's the truth. I didn't see any. So now today is protest day. Today's Friday, and of course, they are protesting in Clearwater. And guess what? It's always so exciting. Well, is it exciting inside? No, not when people get hurt. And if they get hurt, we record it and it gets shown. Now, and then they get followed home. Now, that is not good. That is horrible that they do, that they harm people by following them home. That's invasion of privacy. Now, Aaron proved that happens. There was a guy, a private detective that Scientology hired that's outside of Aaron's house. Now, they're probably going to make up some story that the protesters are putting these protesters in danger. Now, I believe that because guess what? They showed him. Look what happened to Confident Chris. He was beat up so badly that he needed stitches and they actually stapled his head. So, all right. Now, do I want to say awful things about anyone, including churches? No, I don't. that's the last thing I want to do, but sometimes there are not great people. Sometimes, and this includes church. Not everybody is perfect. I understand that. But at the same time, we have to actually be accepted of other people. We cannot turn around and judge people harshly or judge a character that's not even there. You have to judge their character to come up with the conclusion that they're evil. Okay. And I think that's what Jesus meant by not judging anyone. Don't judge people harshly and judge a person's inner beauty before coming to the conclusion that they're evil. Now, I wouldn't like that if somebody said that to me, and I'm a wonderful person. Now, if I was evil, I would just come out and say it. If I wasn't a good person, I would just come out and say it. Some people, do lie about it and say they're good when they're not. But with me, I am fine. I'm good. I treat people with respect. And at the end, there's always a choice. New declarations, and this is number 100 and I think 54, 53, something like that. I found number 51 right on the priest I have in the church I go to. He is just wonderful, and he has such a good heart. I haven't even seen his bad side. So, no. So I would say he's not. Now, and this is the way I concluded it. He is a wonderful person. My priest is great. He's got a great wife. He's got such sweet daughters that I saw when they're little, but now they're teenagers. You know how that goes. Children go from small children to teenagers to a full-grown adult. So they're wonderful people. And I think he did a wonderful job raising his girls. I don't see anything wrong with them. All right. Okay. And how many minutes are we in by? Okay, an hour and 37 minutes. All right. We're an hour and 39 minutes in. Now I'm going to wrap it up soon. And oh my gosh, I've been having such a rough time with my Chromebooks, both my Chromebooks. And I can't get to any of the SPTV sites or to anyone on the SPTV network. It is unbelievable. Now, it's either my internet connections in the AI or human era with me or Scientology trying to mess with me. All right. Okay. Now I am trying to get back to all the public works meetings, but I haven't heard from them yet. So I'm probably going to actually get right back to navigating my way back into those meetings. And I definitely want to go. It could be the north side of Ohio. It can be the south side of Ohio. It can be the east side or the west side of Ohio. I'm not going to say which side. So that's just the way it's going to go. Because I do not want Scientology jumping ahead of the next person or stopping me from actually advocating. I am going to go and just advocate and say either stop your abusive practices or close up. Right now, they're not giving up on their abusive practices, so we are working towards closing them for good if they don't. Okay. All right. Now, the next time I come on, it's going to be tomorrow. You know, every weekend, I am in my kitchen Saturday and Sunday cooking a recipe for everybody at home and the ones who got out of a cult, especially Scientology. Because guess what? Eventually you're going to have to eat. By standing on your own 2 feet, you're going to have to do things for yourselves. And that includes cooking. So that's where I came in. That's the way I wanted to actually fill my time. Because guess what? I don't really cook as much because when I cook, I usually make a huge mess out of my kitchen. So I'm only there 3 times a week. I'm not kidding. It's just, that's just the way it is with me. Now, either I make a mess, and if I don't make a mess, it's usually when I don't cook. It's so funny. Alrighty. All right, I'm almost there. Now, I think I'm gonna stop after I do these 2 spots. Then I'm gonna close. And now, when I'm in the kitchen, I'm not afraid of making a mistake because they say mistakes bring views. So I'm like, okay. I mean, since I'm that funny and I'm unaware of it, half the time I'm aware that I'm really, really hilarious, and the other half I don't. Because I think I have probably made somebody laugh. I don't know, because I only have usually just one person. Alrighty. And guess what? I'm really enjoying myself and helping everybody, contributing to the SPTV network really fulfilled my life and my life stream of becoming an actor, having my own show or movie. But in this case, I got my own show finally, and I'm pulling something off. Now, my audience is not that big. It's okay. I'm fine with it. A small audience is fine. That's all you need sometimes. But yeah, I just love it. It's not only I have that my show, I'm also leaving comments below about organizations that can help people with their mental illness or their trauma by going to any of the links down below. So it's now, okay. Now I'm going to work on that side, and then I'm going to call it a day. Yep, it's an hour and 49 minutes into my show. All right. Now, oh my gosh, I wish you can just see my work. It's a dog, a beagle. Where's its tail? Well, sorry, I couldn't find the tail, but I found the rest of the beagle. So I didn't see the beagle's tail, so that did it. And there were 2 beagles on there, but I only had room for the one, so I'm just using that one. Okay, and I wanted to actually use animals since I'm an avid animal lover, and that's the platform I wanted to use for my channel. But one thing that led to another. I woke up and realized when they were against psychiatry, I thought there were people that were once psychiatrists and didn't like it, but using community service. No, they actually don't like psychiatrists, and they wanted to just totally get rid of them. That is not good. That is not good for other people's mental health. It's not great for my mental health. And I've been open about my mental health illness, need mental health care. And they just, yeah, it's awful. So, and they take it upon themselves it's all because of Hubbard having a beef with them because of that stupid e-meter of his. They actually laughed him out of the room, and that's how that all started. No. So it's horrible when people don't realize they have a problem with their mental health, and an organization or a person comes out and says, don't use psychiatry, or this is going to cure you. That's what a cult does. And it's awful. Now, tomorrow I will definitely be in my kitchen at 4:45 p.m. I'll be cooking dinner. When am I going to cook? I don't know until I actually get into my kitchen. And will I be making dessert? Yes. Will I make other foods? Oh, yeah, I will. What am I going to actually cook tomorrow? I do not know. All right. Or halfway. Oh, I wish I was in Clearwater having pizza, to be honest. Because, guess what? I just love pizza. It's one of my favorite foods. Now, is it a vegan pizza? Probably not, because it's Costco. So, but however, vegetarians do eat pizza. They just don't have pepperoni, and the vegans don't have dairy. But you know what? You may never know. Things might change. Now, there's a pizza place. Now I keep saying that I'm going to open up my own eBay store and sell off all these beautiful arts of mine, but I'm having a hard time getting in. It is just unbelievable. I can't even get in to set up my own shops. Now, art therapy is the most greatest way to relax and stimulate your mind. And oh geez, I did tell you that I was gonna play Delilah Hilton's music today, but I forgot. I'm sorry, everybody. But if you want to hear her music, her downloads are really free. You can download them, and it just takes away your stress, and her music just relaxes you. It is just so good. So get to her channel, and it's just so unbelievable to listen to all her music, the new age music to relax to. Now that's what there are music that relaxes you. They have this certain kind of sound that relaxes another person, and it is so cool. All right. Okay, got another minute till I fold and call it quits for today. Then I'll definitely be in my kitchen tomorrow. I'm gonna have a dinner tonight. Oh, geez, I don't know. But I'm not gonna be in the kitchen today. That's tomorrow. As all of you know, I'm in there Saturday and Sunday. So be there this weekend. So every weekend, I'm doing some kind of activity to kick back, relax. And this is one of them. Now, there is art therapy. Now, I'm not an art therapist. That would be in the link below. Go to NAMI, and they'll set you up with somebody, whether it's art therapy or regular therapy. All righty. Okay. Now it's time to fold. We have gone to the end of my show. Now we will finish this up. Well, it's going to take a little time to actually finish it since I started to actually paint it and draw in the details of the base. Okay. Now, usually I would draw in animals. That's what I love. I love animals. I love plants. I love drawing plants. Yeah. It is just so cute. And I love nature, so I draw nature. Okay. All right. You know what I'm going to say? You want to donate to my channel? You can buy me a coffee or go to my PayPal. You decide what amount you should give me when it comes to my PayPal. Not going to tell you the amount. I'm leaving that to your hands. But if you don't have the money to buy me a coffee or donate, don't give any of your money. However, you can still watch my show, whether or not you have it. And now, hit the like, press subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow in my kitchen.